This is a 1955 Chevy Nomad that was purchased from the Barrett-Jackson Auto Auction, and I have the honor of detailing it and adding my personal touch of art to it in the process, as well as teaching you guys some different tips and tricks in the auto detailing industry that I guarantee that you've never heard of or never thought of.
So in the previous video, I showed you how to detail the engine bay of this 1957 Chevy Nomad, and I even gave you a really neat tip and trick on how to get rid of all the rust and all the corrosion of all the chrome and all the metal pieces. So if you had a chance to check that out, I put the link to the video of that in the description. Alright guys, back to the video and some really fun detailing.
Okay, now that I did the engine bay, I'm going to go ahead and do the outside wash of the entire vehicle. My system that I use is a completely touchless system. I don't use two-bucket method. I don't use any type of brushes or sponges or mitts or microfiber towels or anything like that at all whatsoever. I only use a microfiber towel when I'm drying it off.
When I was washing the vehicle, I noticed that my foam and my foam candle wasn't sticking to the paint as well as it should, which led to me believe that it needed to be stripped off. So I use a magic eraser to take that off. That's my go-to. Then I use a grind buster, which I use is what I call my water brush. Obviously, the closer you are to the paint, the stiffer the bristles are. The further away you are, the softer the bristles are. And then I use my microfiber rag as a drying towel.
So you might be asking what a Barrett-Jackson Auto Auction vehicle needs when it comes to paint correction and when it comes to polishing. Well, I'm going to go over a few things here with you over the paint and show you some stuff. Even though it's a pristine paint job, there's a few things here that need to be taken care of. All right, so if we go through the paint, you can see that it's got those little micro stress cracks in there. The chrome has a little bit of pitting right here. We're going to go through and polish that up. And then in between all your chrome part stuff, I mean, somebody waxed in here. So you got some wax inside there. It's going to have to come out. Inside the hood scoop right here, there's a little bit of corrosion that's going to be taken care of. Underneath this here is corroded, and there's some corrosion there, so we're going to get under there and polish that out. So that way when it reflects on this part of the bumper, you don't see that. Inside the tail light, we're going to have to take a screwdriver and pull that out and polish inside of there. But the main important thing that I'm most concerned about is the wheels. If you look behind the wheels themselves, there's a lot of corrosion back there. So when it comes to compounding, cutting, and polishing, there's a lot of confusion out there. So cutting is the type of compound that you use that actually cuts into the paint, and you're going to be using a pad to facilitate the actual cutting, which is a wool pad. Typically, in the old days, they used to use what was called a rotary buffer. It's basically just an angle grinder. That's actually how I got my start. I started at 12 years old with an angle grinder and put on a wool pad to start buffing and polishing. There was no variable speeds. It was just one, and that was it with a wool pad. Wool all replacement. Anyway, that's a different story. But now, today's technology, we have microfiber pads. These here are a nice cutting pad. They don't leave a lot of swirl marks in there. You got a cutting foam pad, a secondary cutting foam pad. Then you start getting into polishing with your orange. Then you get into polishing / glazing with your blue, and then straight glazing with your red. And you'll notice that each one of these pads is much stiffer than this one. So this green pad is very stiff, while this red pad is very, very, very soft. One of my channels that I follow that I'm very inspired by is Ammo NYC, and Larry on there talks about polishing and compounding all the time, and he gives very specific information about when it comes to polishing and compounding and cutting, and the importance of that the compound itself is more of a lubrication. And he's right. He's absolutely right. The compound, the polish, whatever you use, is more of a lubrication, where in today's technology, the pads actually do what, in the old days, what the compounds used to do back then. We're going to start off with the red pad first to see if it takes care of all these stress cracks that I have in here. If that doesn't work, then we're going to step it up to the blue pad, that doesn't work, we're going to step it up to the orange pad. If that doesn't work, we're going to step it up to the yellow pad. If that doesn't step it up, we're going to step up to the green pad. And if that doesn't work, we're going to go straight to the microfiber pad. All right, guys, this is a DA polisher, which stands for dual action. What it does is it spins once this way, and it also orbits as well. See that real quick, how that's doing it? We're going to use the least aggressive pad first. We're going to add 5 dots. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just going to mix that in, because we don't want to get any sling everywhere. So we can put it on our minimum setting first. So we're just going to do that just like so on your buffer itself. Okay, so that scratch is still there. So we're going to have to go through now. We're going to have to go get the second pad. 5 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to apply the compound on minimum, and then I'm going to ramp it up to 1. And as you're polishing, you want to make sure that you, kind of like in body work, you want to make sure that you blend. Because the worst thing that you can do is you can have one spot that you went and polished out a scratch, and then have a spot that looks a lot more better than the other. Okay, the scratch is still there, but it's disappearing. So that leads me to believe that we need to step it up 1 more pad. Prime the pad again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this time we're going to put it up to 2 on the settings. And then we'll ramp up to 2. That looks like that's a sanding mark. Even if we go all the way up to the microfiber pad, we're not going to get that out. That is underneath the paint. Like if you look at a scratch on a microscope and you clear coat, it'd be real jagged. But when you look at a scratch and a sanding mark and paint's applied over top of it, it's real smooth. It's just something that you pick up over the years. So we noticed that the rest of the panel actually looked really good with just a red polishing pad. So we're going to go back to that. If I did not strip the sealant that was on this with my magic eraser, this polishing pad would be going skip across the entire surface, because what it's doing is you're actually polishing the actual sealant, not the clear coat. But I'm going to go through and I'm just going to go ahead and polish up the entire paint. I've noticed that when I use the polish, those micro cracks are coming right out. Alright guys, we got done with the polishing, and before we start with the ceramic coating, we're going to take care of that chrome. We're going to do the same thing with the chrome on this as we did with the engine bay, which is barkeeper's friend, soft detail brush, and steamer, and a microfiber rag. Alright, so while we're waiting for our steamer to heat up, I want to do a test spot here. Before taking the whole lens out and taking the whole piece here off to get underneath here, I just want to see if I can just do this real quick with the barkeeper's friend. A little bit here on the brush, just like so. Don't need a lot, just a little dab, like so. I'm going to go through. This is going to dissolve the rust and the corrosion that's on the bottom of this light. Alright, so we're going to let that sit for about 5-10 minutes, let it do its work and dissolve the rust and the corrosion. Then we're going to get a steamer and just rinse it right off and see whether or not if we have to pull this whole light fixture out or not. Alright guys, our steamer is ready to go. We had our barkeeper's friend on there for the time it took the steamer to heat up. My rule of thumb is light is green, it's ready to clean. Steam that up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. See how nice that is? Alright guys, we got finished with the chrome, getting all of the corrosion and steam rinsed off with the barkeeper's friend. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start on the wheels. These are actually chip foose wheels. These are really expensive. But I went through and I looked at the wheels. I have the right sockets. Unfortunately though, the back lug nuts are rounded out. There's no square shape to the lug nuts at all whatsoever. They're all round. I'm going to raise each wheel with the floor jack, take the wheel off, put it on my wheel stand, and we're going to be using the barkeeper's friend on the inside of the wheel for the corrosion and get rid of that. Because of the lug nuts being rounded out on the back, I'm going to have to do the next dumb thing, which is raise the back end per axle and get underneath the vehicle and do inside the wheels that way. Since these are chip foose wheels, I guarantee these are going to be short wall lugs, and we are going to see how many ugga-duggas this takes. So these aren't too terribly. These feel like 80 foot-pounds. That's the standard Chevrolet torque spec. Like I said, I feel more comfortable taking these off by hand. Alright, so we got the wheel off. We got ourselves a wheel holder here, which spins nice and freely here. I saw that. I actually got that idea from Larry from Ammo NYC. You see inside the wheels, we got a lot of corrosion on the inside of the wheels. In order to get this corrosion off, the way we're going to do it, same thing. Barkeeper's friend, detail brush, hot steam, and a microfiber rag. So if you look at the inside of the wheels here, you'll see we got some corrosion. There's our barkeeper's friend on here. Go through on the corrosion. It's already starting to remove it. That's how fast this stuff acts and works. So I figured while I had the wheel off, I might as well do the caliper too. Maybe the upper control arm too. Let's take care of that. Right on your grease fitting right here. Put that on there, like so. Since I don't know anything about this vehicle, one of the things I really don't know about is the torque specs on the wheels. But I'm assuming that since this is a Barrett-Jackson Auto Auction vehicle, that it was purchased original Chevrolet stuff. So on the wheel torque guides on Chevrolet, it's between 65 and 79. So I'm going to torque these wheels actually to 80 foot-pounds. And just listen for that click. Alright, now we can let the entire vehicle down. And that is a detailed wheel. Alright, so I got the rear wheel jacked up. If anybody in the comment section knows how to get rounded lug nuts off without drilling them out, write them in the comment section. Get behind the wheel, behind the spoke there. So So the owner of the vehicle brought to my attention that he had some touch-up paint. And in a video that I did for him, whenever I was doing an estimate video, I wanted to bring to his attention that there was paint chips, and the paint was chipping in this area. Before I go and touch this up, I want to see how much of this is actually compound and how much of it is actually paint chipping. It looks like a close match to me. The only way really professionally to take care of that is to have it sanded down, put some Bondo in there, putty glaze, paint over it again, then buff it and wax it out. Okay guys, the wheels are done. I touched up that one spot that the customer told me about, and now it's off to ceramic coating.